Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 378 based on novel. So let's start. Mu Bingmei's words were soft as if she was recalling the past. A hint of melancholy and an inexplicable mood slowly entered the ears of everyone in the everlasting sect. The woman named Wang Shanshan blinked and smiled. Little sister really wants to meet someone who big sister Mu would praise so much. Mu Bingmei shook her head and softly said, "I'm afraid there is no chance. After he left, I have no idea where he went. After we parted, everything has changed. The chances of him coming to the Cloud Sea aren't big." The middle-aged man from the everlasting sect was obviously someone with very high status, or else he wouldn't be sitting here with the sect master. After hearing this, he calmly said, "After hearing from fellow cultivator Mu, I'm also very curious. Is this person really as talented as fellow cultivator Mu says? I wonder what his name is. I hope fellow cultivator Mu can tell me so if I meet him one day, I won't be disrespectful." This remark was a bit rude. Mu Bingmei frowned as she coldly looked at the middle-aged man and calmly said, "There is no need to tell you his name. It might not necessarily be lucky for you to encounter him." The middle-aged man laughed as he didn't mind and shook his head. "A mere Nirvana cleanser cultivator, I hope to know his name so that if I meet him, I can give him a grand opportunity. However, since fellow cultivator Mu doesn't want to say it, forget it." The everlasting sect master, the middle-aged man, looked calm, but he was not happy in his heart. He looked at the middle-aged man, but in the end he didn't say anything. Wang Shanshan was clever. She smiled and dodged the topic. "Sect master, I heard big sister Li also came. I wonder where she is." With that, Wang Shanshan explained to Mu Bingmei, "Big sister Li is one of the geniuses of our Cloud Sea. In just 1,000 years of cultivation, she has already reached the peak of the Nirvana Shatterer stage." Even Mu Bingmei's expression changed a bit when she heard this, and she nodded. "Fellow cultivator Li has some relation with my everlasting sect's branch sect, the Origin sect, so she is not here and is with them instead," the old man explained. He was also very confused about this. Origin sect? What rank is this branch sect? Wang Shanshan was shocked. She had never heard of this sect before. "Elder Feng, you saw this personally, so explain it to everyone." The elder in white looked at Feng Hai. Feng Hai's expression was a bit strange as he got up to clasp his hands at Wang Shanshan and Mu Bingmei. He looked around and found many old monsters looking at him. It looked like many people didn't know the details and had only heard about it. In truth, it was no wonder they were puzzled. Li Qianmai was famous and was unexpected for her to be close to a rank 5 sect. And it wasn't just mere acquaintances as she was willing to kill a rank 7 sect cultivator for them. After letting out a dry cough, Feng Hai let out a wry smile. "Sect master, this old man also doesn't know the specifics." The moment fellow cultivator Li arrived, she asked about the rank 5 origin sect. At that time, Luing Jie from the Celestial Music sect and Zhao Long had some private affairs with the origin sect. Then fellow cultivator Li attacked, destroying fellow cultivator Zhao's body and almost killing Luing Jie. All of this seems to be related to someone named Lu in the Origin sect. After he finished, everyone in the everlasting sect became curious. Wang Shanshan smiled. "Big sister Li is a quiet person who rarely gets angry. If she attacked, there must be a reason. Elder Feng, who is this person named Lu?" Feng Hai nodded and said, "This person named Lu is indeed mysterious. This old man secretly investigated and found that this person is of the senior generation in the Origin sect and is a relative of Lu Yanfei. Then I checked the records and indeed found that the Origin sect has someone named Lu Zihao. He was crazy about alchemy and left many years ago, seeking herbs. He has been unaccounted for since then. I wonder how he met fellow cultivator Li and got along so well. Li Yunsong also seems to be close to this person. He stepped forward for the Origin sect and was willing to offend the Celestial Music sect and Zhao Long listening to his words. It seems this Lu Zihao's understanding of Tao is higher than his, and Li Yunsong admires him greatly. There are even hints that he has enlightened Li Yunsong before. Lu Yunsong said that if Lu Zihao comes to the competition, then forget being first among the rank 5 sects, he can even be number 1 among the rank 6 sects with just himself. He also stated that Lu Zihao could kill Lu Yingjie like squashing an ant. The reason fellow cultivator Li didn't hurt Lu Yingjie was because he didn't believe those words and wanted to fight Lu Zihao. Thus fellow cultivator Li gave him the chance. After he finished speaking, everyone immediately became silent. The people sitting here were all people with very high status in the sect. They fancied Lu Yunsong and wanted to nurture him. However, when they heard from Feng Hai how much Lu Yunsong admired Lu Zihao, their attention shifted to this Lu Zihao. Meanwhile, at the competition, Lu Yunsong only took 6 steps forward and caused the sect master of the other rank 5 sect to retreat with a pale face. Every step he took seemed to land on that person's heart and caused that person's mind to become chaotic. This scene immediately caused everyone who was watching to become serious and begin to talk. It was obvious that Lu Yunsong's footsteps were integrated with his domain and seemed to merge with the world. The sect master that was against Lu Yunsong wryly smiled and clasped his hands. This old man admits defeat. You are indeed worthy of being an elite of our everlasting sect. This old man admires you. With that, he bowed at the grandstand and quickly left. The rank 5 competition was about to end, and because of Li Qianmei's presence, the origin sect still hadn't gone up yet. Now the origin sect was the only one that hadn't gone up. The elder in charge of the rank 5 competition appeared in the air. He looked at where the origin sect was and calmly said, "Origin sect, enter the stage." The origin sect was still in the northern corner, and a repressive aura filled their area. Li Qianmei also sat there, looking at the sky with confusion and reminiscence as if she was thinking about something. Lu Yanfei's face was pale as she bit her lower lip, and after a long time, she stood up. She was the person with the highest cultivation level in the origin sect, so she had to enter this competition. After she stood up, she looked at the people of the origin sect. This included her 3 senior brothers and her disciple. After letting out a sigh, she moved like a butterfly as she floated toward the platform. Teacher, Xu Yun's eyes were filled with tears as she looked at Li Yanfei go. She didn't know what the fate of the origin sect would be after this. Maybe they would really be disbanded. At this moment, the people around the arena became silent and looked at the arena. They all had heard of what had happened and were all looking to see if that mysterious person from the origin sect would appear. Tens of thousands of gazes gathered, and Li Yanfei's face became even more pale. However, her eyes became even more determined as she moved faster and faster before she arrived before Lu Yunsong. Lu Yunsong looked at Li Yanfei with a complicated gaze. The origin sect doesn't need anyone else to compete. Just me is fine. Lu Yanfei stood on the arena as the countless gazes gathered on her. Her figure was weak, but at this moment, there was a mysterious power supporting her. It allowed her to remain calm. He promised me he could come. I'm sure he will come. Lu Yanfei bit her lower lip and looked up at the sky. She faintly saw a figure giving her an encouraging smile. The surroundings were completely silent. This competition of the rank 5 origin sect originally wouldn't have been given any attention. However, due to that mysterious person, it caught the attention of every cultivator. Even the rank 6 and 7 sects had their gazes gathered on this fight. Fellow cultivator, please advise me. On the arena, Lu Yanfei had a firm gaze as she bowed slightly toward Lu Yunsong. Lu Yunsong pondered for a moment before he turned toward the everlasting sect's master and elders. He clasped his hands and his voice was clear, but it revealed his nirvana cleanser cultivation as his voice rumbled. Seniors of the main sect, disciple is not willing to compete with the origin sect. This matter is unfair. On the platform Wu Bingmai was sitting on, the old man in white frowned. Feng Hai, who was in charge of the competition, had a heavy expression as he shouted, "What is unfair? Lu Yunsong, what is the meaning of your words?" His voice was mighty and completely suppressed Lu Yunsong's words. It was earth-shattering. Lu Yunsong's face turned slightly pale. With his cultivation level, he was simply insignificant before old monsters like Feng Hai. However, he took a deep breath and clasped his hands. Disciple knows someone from the origin sect. This person has a high cultivation level and a profound understanding of Tao. If he were to come, disciple would be inferior. If disciple competes with the origin sect before he gets here, it will be unfair to the origin sect. Disciple Lu Yunsong came to battle him. I want to confirm the effort of my Tao. If I win, I want a true victory, or to lose without regret. After he spoke, the surrounding cultivators were all in an uproar. The mysterious person had already become the focus of everyone, but with Lu Yunsong's words, the fame of the mysterious person rose once more. It had reached a peak. At this moment, everyone was guessing what that mysterious person was like. What kind of ability did he have to make Lu Yunsong like this, to make Li Qianmai like this? This Lu Yunsong is indeed someone worthy of teacher's praise. He is truly a manly man. Wang Shanshan looked at Lu Yunsong's upright and extraordinary figure with interest in her eyes. Lu Yunsong and Lu Yanfei, the two of you, come forward. The person who spoke wasn't Feng Hai or any of the Everlasting Sect's elders, but the old man in white, the Everlasting Sect master. He now had great interest toward this mysterious Lu Zihao. Lu Yunsong took a deep breath and nodded at Lu Yanfei before heading toward the grandstand without a word. Lu Yanfei pondered as she flew like a butterfly toward the stand. Of the two, the male was graceful and magnificent. The female was weak, but determined and beautiful. At this moment, when they moved together, it had a certain visual power. Even Mu Bingmai couldn't help but sigh. Whether it was Lu Yunsong's cultivation or words, he could be considered an elite in the Cloud Sea. Beside her, Wang Shanshan's beautiful eyes scanned Lu Yunsong. Lu Yunsong quickly arrived on the stand. After pausing for a moment, he said, "Disciple Lu Yunsong greets sect master and elders." As he spoke, his gaze swept over and saw Mu Bingmai next to Wang Shanshan. He fell into a trance for a moment, as if everyone else had disappearing, leaving behind only this cold but gorgeous woman. Lu Yuanfei was beside Lu Yunsong as she bowed respectfully and softly said, "Disciple Lu Yanfei greets sect master and elders." Most of the people on the stands didn't look at Lu Yanfei, but at Lu Yunsong with looks of admiration. The middle-aged man named Zhu looked at Lu Yunsong with kindness in his eyes. "Lu Yunsong, is the person you spoke of origin sect's Lu Zihao?" The old man in white's voice was calm and gave off an invisible pressure. His peak nirvana chakra cultivation spread out, but from the looks of it, it was very casual and wasn't his real cultivation level. Lu Yunsong pondered a bit and then slowly said, "Disciple doesn't know this person's name, but my guess is he should be Lu Zihao." The old man in white calmly looked at Lu Yunsong and asked, "What is this person's cultivation level?" "Early stage nirvana cleanser." But Lu Yunsong high-stated a bit before saying, "Disciple only felt as if his cultivation was at the early stage of nirvana cleanser but couldn't see through him, as if he was hiding his real cultivation level." After he spoke, the people of the Everlasting Sect looked at each other. The old man in white pondered a bit and said, "How did you meet this person? Tell us in detail." Lu Yunsong nodded as his eyes filled with reminiscence and he said, "He killed that damn son of mine." Just as he began to speak, not only were the people on the grandstand startled, everyone who was listening was also startled for a moment. That damn son of mine was a villain, so it was fine that he died. However, as a father, I still had to see the person who killed him, so I went to the origin sect. On the way, I met fellow cultivator Li, and we went together. Lu Yunsong began to recall everything that happened when he met Wang Lin. He also included Li Qianmei's 3 questions and how Wang Lin had answered them. The answer of how heaven was like a circle moved everyone. The elders of the Everlasting Sect were all shocked. The old man in white carefully pondered for a while before his eyes shined brightly. "What a good idea about seeing heaven as a circle. What you are seeking is still in this world, while what he seeks is already beyond the heavens and earth. This man's understanding of Tao has far surpassed yours." Wang Shanshan's beautiful eyes moved as she listened to Lu Yunsong and softly said, "I didn't expect our Cloud Sea to have such a talent, but I have never heard of him before. After I had discussed Tao with Brother Lu, my comprehension deepened a lot, and I admire him greatly. I came here in hopes of meeting him again, but unfortunately," Lu Yunsong let out a sigh. When everyone heard this, they understood why Li Qianmai had come and helped the origin sect. I didn't expect such a person to appear within the origin sect. Feng Hai felt melancholy as he looked at the silent Li Yanfei. Li Yanfei, is this person really your origin sect's ancestor? The person who asked was the white-robed old man who was the sect master of the everlasting sect. This was the first time Li Yanfei was questioned, but she didn't hesitate and softly said, "Yes, Uncle Teacher wandered the world and came back to save the origin sect." He settled down. But after meeting fellow cultivator Lu, he set off once more. His whereabouts are unknown. Such a cultivator must wander the world to comprehend Tao. His personality must make him want to avoid common matters, and only by doing so could he have such comprehension in Tao. The person who spoke was the middle-aged man named Zhu. He felt rather regrettable. "Will your uncle teacher come here?" the old man in white asked. After he heard what Li Yunsong said, he became even more interested. Even though this person belonged to the origin sect was a branch of the everlasting sect. In the end, this person was still a disciple of the everlasting sect. When Uncle Teacher left, he said he would come. Although Lu Yanfei's voice was soft, her words were filled with determination. "Good, then let's wait for him. This old man wants to see what kind of person this Lu Zihao is. You return, and the competition between your origin sect and Purple Dao sect will be held off. Elder Feng, tell the rank 6 sects to start." The old man in white smiled. He was very happy. The competition of the rank 6 sects officially began, and thunderous rumbles echoed. However, they couldn't attract too much attention, as everyone's attention was still on the grandstands of the everlasting sect. Fellow cultivator Mu, you also heard all of this. How does this Lu Zihao compare to that person you spoke of? The middle-aged man named Zhu looked over and smiled. While Mu Bingmai was listening to Lu Yunsong's words, she was silently pondering. She had a very strange feeling. It seemed like the Lu Zihao Lu Yunsong had spoken of was very familiar. At this moment, she didn't respond to the middle-aged man's words, but looked toward Lu Yunsong and said indifferently, "Can you tell me what this Lu Zihao looks like?" Lu Yunsong looked at Mu Bingmai, his heart pounding. The moment he heard her words, he unabashedly revealed admiration in his eyes and nodded. "This person has white hair and likes to wear white." After saying those words, Lu Yunsong revealed a smile as he waved his hand and a crack to his storage space opened. A jade flew into his hand and he quickly imprinted Wang Lin's image. Then he injected origin energy into it and the jade exploded. As the pieces scattered, a figure appeared from within. This figure wore white and had hair white like snow. His indifferent expression revealed a hint of loneliness, but there was an unspeakable temperament that surrounded him. The moment this image appeared, the elders of the everlasting sect stared at the image. Two of them stood up, looked at the image, and exclaimed, "It's him." Mu Bingmei's body trembled as she looked at the figure, and she immediately became excited. But she quickly suppressed it, then it was replaced by an inexplicable sadness. Just like how a lonely person met a loved one in a foreign land. She bit her lower lip and was stunned. Lu Yanfei was also filled with confusion as she looked at the figure. She felt bitterness in her heart. Lu Yunsong was startled. Before he could speak, a ray of light suddenly flew over from the northern platform. This ray of light caused a thunderous rumble and carried with it 100 years of killing intent. It was earth-shattering as it swept across the sky, and Li Qianmai appeared before the grandstand where the everlasting sect elders were sitting. Her gaze locked onto the two everlasting sect elders who had stood up. "The two of you have seen him." Li Qianmei's voice was calm, but there was a bit of trembling in her voice that she didn't even notice. Looking at the figure before her, there was an obsession in her heart. For this obsession, she didn't hesitate risking the punishment of the demon sect to come here to the everlasting sect just to see that figure again. 100 years wasn't long, but also not short. Even Li Qianmai didn't know what that inexplicable feeling was. Only that during the 100 years of fighting, every time she left the battlefield tired and injured, his figure would appear. Li Qianmei's appearance caused Wang Shanshan to stand up. She was about to speak when she noticed that Li Qianmei's state wasn't right, and a thought appeared in her mind. This was the first time Mu Bingmai had laid eyes on Li Qianmai. Li Qianmei's beauty and calmness caused a hint of bitterness to arise in her heart. She bit her lower lip and remained silent. The sect master of the everlasting sect frowned and looked at the two elders that had stood up. One of the elders was still shocked. He took a deep breath and said, "I didn't know he was loser how." Although, what Lu Yunsong said was still somewhat wrong. How can this person be a Nirvana cleanser cultivator? I took my disciples to the Chaos Beast Fog Realm to train and saw this person easily killing rank 11 fire centipedes and also seriously injuring a rank 12 beast. If not for the fact that he was injured, I'm afraid not even I would be a match for him. After he spoke, all the elders of the everlasting sect were shocked. If someone else said it, they might not have believed it, but Elder Wu Tian, who was always calm and steady, had much more credibility. So Elder Wu has seen this person. This old man hasn't seen his face, but I have seen his figure. Earlier, this old man received reports from the rank 6 and rank 7 region. Someone charged from the rank 5 region through the rank 6 region. His speed was shocking and was at the level of a peak Nirvana Shatterer or First Heaven's Blight cultivator. He passed by countless continents, but no one dared to stop him at all. He charged through the rank 6 region and broke the formation into the rank 7 region. One of the branch sects had 3 Nirvana Shatterer cultivators who tried to stop him. This person used the War Spirit Print. The War Spirit Print destroyed several wild continents, and many were forced to move their continents so he could pass. He charged all the way into the rank 8 region. After he spoke, everyone was even more shocked. Hearing all of this, Mu Bingmei's eyes lit up and she couldn't help but smile wryly in her heart. No matter where he went, he would always do some shocking things. Li Qianmei also listened to this carefully. She bit her lower lip, but her eyes were bright. She smiled and looked at the sky. She felt very happy. Lu Yanfei's mind went blank, and after a long time, the joy in her heart suppressed the shock. She understood that Wang Lin hadn't forgotten his promise from 100 years ago. He had charged his way through the rank 6, 7, and 8 regions to come here. Even Wang Shanshan revealed a strange gaze as various scenes she thought up appeared in her mind. A person in white rushing through space. She was just very confused about why he would know the War Spirit Print. Lu Yunsong revealed a wry smile. He didn't think that Brother Lu would have set off such a big wave before even arriving. This had nothing to do with him, it was due to what the two elders of the everlasting sect had said. The entire grandstand was silent and the old man in white let out a deep breath. He had to believe it. At this moment, he no longer looked at this mysterious person like a junior, but someone of the same generation. Lu Yanfei, you don't need to go back. Wait here. I presume that by the time the rank 6 sect competition is over, your uncle teacher will be here. The everlasting sect master let out a dry cough. He looked at Lu Yanfei with a look of admiration toward a junior. Li Qianmei didn't leave, but sat down due to Wang Shanshan's invitation. The moment she sat down, Mu Bingmei's lightning-like gaze swept over. The two women met for a moment with Wang Shanshan in between. Wang Shanshan was in the middle and introduced them when she suddenly shivered. She leaned slightly backward so there was now no obstacle between their gazes. Mu Bingmei looked at Li Qianmei for a long time before she withdrew her gaze and said in a soft but cold voice, "Lady Li is indeed a genius, your cultivation is extraordinary." Li Qianmei was a bit confused as to why this strange, beautiful woman was looking at her. When she with her gaze, Li Qianmei softly said, "In terms of beauty, I really can't match fellow cultivator Mu." The people of the everlasting sect became even more excited for the competition. However, what they were waiting from was the person the two elders had talked about. The competition between the two rank 6 sects was no longer interesting, but one person stood up just like Lu Yunsong in the past. This person was Yuan Fei, the head disciple of the giant spirit sect. He was always in closed-door cultivation and had left the sect many years ago, returning only 200 years ago. He had missed 2 competitions as a result. He was middle-aged and was at the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer. He was extremely vicious, people that fought with him would often be seriously injured. This person was number 1 among the juniors of his rank 6 sect. If not for the fact that he was always away, the celestial music sect wouldn't have gotten its top spot and Lu Yingjie wouldn't have become famous. He represented the juniors of his sect. Even Lu Yingjie was weary and silently sneered, but he didn't appear. This allowed Yuan Fei's fame to soar. At this moment, he stood on the platform and looked at the grandstand. His gaze fell on Mu Bingmai and company. He didn't hide the desire in his eyes at all. I wonder how I compare to the cultivator that fellow cultivator Li spoke of. His voice echoed like thunder. Li Qianmei's expression was calm as she looked at Yuan Fei on the arena and only said one word. Inferior. Yuan Fei silently pondered for a bit before smiling as if he didn't care. His gaze landed on Lu Yunsong and he coldly said, Lu Yunsong, I wasn't here for the last competition. Do you still want to challenge me? Lu Yunsong's eyes revealed a cold gaze, and after a long time he said, if Brother Lu of the Origin sect doesn't come, I shall fight you. Time slowly passed. The rank 6 sects competition was nearing its end, but the loser how everyone was waiting for still hadn't come. The rank 7 sects competition was about to begin. In the past, the rank 4, 5, and 6 competitions were only the preview, while the rank 7 sects competition was the main event. However, right now the rank 5 sects competition wasn't over yet. If it continued like this, it would be a bit inappropriate. There were still many people watching, including many people from outside the sect, which made it even more inappropriate for the rank 5 sects matter to be dragged out. Feng Hai hesitated and looked at the sect master. The old man pondered a bit and then looked at Lu Yanfei and Lu Yunsong. As the sect master, he had to consider all sides. The competition was a great event, and it would be inappropriate for the rank 5 sects competition to keep dragging on. We waited. If Lu Zihao comes late, he can't say anything. The old man's eyes lit up and he said, Lu Yunsong, Lu Yanfei, the two of you enter the arena and finish the rank 5 sects competition. The moment he spoke, he caught the attention of all the surrounding cultivators. Lu Yunsong pondered for a moment before looking at the old man. He clasped his hands at Lu Yanfei and flew toward the arena. Lu Yanfei bit her lower lip. She knew that Wang Lin was most likely on the way, but right now she had to fight. Letting out a sigh, Lu Yanfei flew like a butterfly toward the arena. She landed on the arena, and her gaze became even more determined. Even if he doesn't come, I must continue on with this battle. This was a private matter of the everlasting sect, so Li Qianmei didn't have a reason to interfere. She silently watched Lu Yanfei's figure. However, if the Origin sect was to be disbanded, she made up her mind to take everyone in the Origin sect back to the heaven-breaking sect. The moment Lu Yunsong and Lu Yanfei arrived on the arena, everyone became quiet and looked over. Due to one person from the Origin sect, they had caught everyone's attention. For the first time, such a small sect was remembered by the countless cultivators here. All of this was because of the person who hadn't arrived yet. Not everyone's gazes contained good intent. Like Lu Yingjie from the Celestial Music sect. He stared at Lu Yunsong and Lu Yanfei with a venomous gaze. That ridiculous person, weren't you all certain he could come? I want to see if that person is as truly as amazing as you all say. Lu Yingjie clenched his fist. Even further away, in the place where the mountain-seeking sect was, it was covered in a gloomy atmosphere. Zhao Long had lost his body and only had his origin soul. He floated next to the sect master and head elder, but his venomous gaze was far stronger than Lu Yingjie's. Brother Zhao can rest assured, I'll not let this matter go. If he doesn't come, he is lucky, but if he does, I'll kill him on the spot. Even if Li Qianmei tries to stop me, she is only herself, she doesn't represent the heaven-breaking sect. We won't offend her, but that mysterious person named Lu must die. What happened on the grandstand was too far away, so no one aside from the people of the everlasting sect knew. They had only seen a vague image but didn't get a clear look. There was also Yuan Fei from the rank 6 sect. He stared at the two people in the arena and sneered. He hoped that the mysterious person would come. He wanted to see for himself what was so special about that person. Lu Yanfei stood there calmly as a lonely feeling appeared in her heart. She didn't care about the countless gazes on her, but the person she had waited 100 years for still hadn't appeared. She raised her head and looked at the sky. There were tears in her eyes, but they didn't fall. She turned toward Lu Yunsong and softly said, "Fellow cultivator Lu, please advise me." Lu Yunsong also withdrew his gaze from the sky as if he was waiting. He looked at Lu Yanfei and said, "I won't hold back in this battle. You should be careful." Lu Yanfei let out a tragic smile but gave a determined gaze, which made her strangely beautiful. She gently nodded and took a few steps back. Her hands formed a seal and her origin energy began to move. This origin energy formed a vortex in the air and caused a thunderous rumble. However, at this moment, this vortex became crazy, as if a strange force had appeared from the void and stirred up the vortex. At this moment, the sky changed colors. For some reason, the vortex continued to grow. It broke out from Lu Yanfei's control and flew into the sky. Lu Yanfei was completely startled, but her body immediately began to tremble and she looked up. Not only her, at this moment, Lu Yunsong also felt his body shake and his origin soul tremble. It was as if an indescribable pressure was coming from the distance. This pressure was earth-shattering, and once it shrouded the area, it made it impossible for him to resist. He was familiar with this aura, very familiar. He suddenly raised his head and stared into the sky. At this moment, aside from those two people, the nearly 100,000 cultivators felt this pressure. The thunder in the sky rumbled endlessly. This earth-shattering sound set off an echo that replaced everything. Silver snakes covered the sky, there were simply too many of them. It was as if all the thunder had gathered at this place and replaced the sky. The thunder rumbled as the wind blew and the sky changed colors. The thunder formed a net in the sky and then descended. A white figure slowly appeared in the endless, rumbling thunder. His white hair flowed in the rumbling thunder and made the entire world into a thunder hell. The thunder suddenly let out a roar that seemed to come from ancient times. This roar could shock the minds of cultivators and make them terrified. The thunder and clouds surged to welcome only one person. He came. This video will end here.